to multiply decimal numbers. Okay, so first let's refresh our memory with what a decimal number is. So decimals are a type of number that represent a whole number along with the fractional part. The fractional part is represented as the numbers that come after the decimal point. If you're a little confused about what the fractional part is, just remember that a fraction is a part of a whole, so we have like part of a number after the decimal point here. Okay. If you're still not sure what decimal numbers are, I strongly recommend learning that before learning how to multiply them. Okay, so you can pause the video here and write down some notes if you want, but I think the best way to learn this is to do it step by step, so that's what we're gonna do. Here is our question, 0.4 times 0.5. So step 1 is temporarily forgetting about these decimal points, which seems a little bit redundant, but you'll understand soon. So we're just going to ignore them, and we're going to write down the numbers without the points. So 4 times 5 is 20. Now we're going to get back to the points. Okay, so what we're going to do now is count the numbers behind the decimal point. An important thing to know here is to understand the same way that 02 or 0002 or 00002, all of them still equal 2. So that same way, 2.0000, 2.000, 2.0, like all of them still equal 2 because the number of zeros after the decimal point are not really acknowledged unless there's another number behind the zero, like 01. But if it's just zeros, then they're kind of ignored, like the zeros before a number. So back to multiplying decimals here. So first we're going to look at how many numbers are after the decimal point. So that's 1 here and 2 here. So there's 2 numbers behind the decimal point because there's 1 here and another 1 here. So now what we're going to do is move the decimal point on the whole number, which is always at the end of the number because it's a whole number, and we're going to move it 2 spaces. So it's going to go here. So the answer is going to be 0.4 times 0.5 equals 0.2. And we can check it on a calculator too. So here we have the answer, 0.2. Okay. Now let me explain to you why the decimal point is at the end of the whole number. Because since it's a whole number, it has no fractional parts. So that means all the numbers after the decimal points are zeros because there's no part of a number, you know? So we always place the decimal point at the end, but we usually ignore it, so that's why we don't write it down when we're writing. Like, we're not going to write 4.0 or 3.0 every time we're writing. Okay, that was a little bit of jumbled up information and that was a little messy, so feel free to rewind the video and watch some parts again. Now we're going to do a couple of problems just to get you comfortable with this. So here's our first practice problem. So first step is forget the decimal points. So we get 8 times 2, which equals 16. Now we're going to count the numbers after the decimal point. So that's 1, 2, and over here another one. So 1 plus 2 equals 3. So we're going to move the decimal point at the end of the number 3 spaces forward. So it's going to jump from here, it's going to go here 1, it's going to go here 2, and it's going to go here 3. So since it skipped a space past 1, we're going to put a 0 over here. That's because originally, remember, our number was 0, 0, 0, 16, because the number of zeros you put here don't matter. This number is still the same as 16. Okay, so if the decimal point is here and we need to move it 3 spaces, it's going to jump 1, 2, 3. So that's why we get 0.016 as your answer. Now we're going to try 2 times 0.5. First, we're going to forget the decimal points. This is already a whole number, so there's no points to forget over here. So we're going to do 2 times 5, which equals 10. Now we're going to count the numbers after the decimal point. Since, again, this is a whole number, there are no numbers, so we only have one number here. So the decimal point in the number 10 is going to jump from here to here. So our answer is 1. That also makes sense if you think about it, because 0.5 is the same as 1/2, and what's half of 2? It's 1. So there's your answer. Here we have 2.2 times 3. So again, forget the decimal point. This is a whole number, so there's nothing to forget when it comes to this number. And we're going to do 22 times 3, which is 66. Now we're going to count the numbers after the decimal point. Only 1 here. We're going to move it from here. It's going to jump 1. So it gets 6.6. Now we're going to go to 2.5 times 0.4. Well, we're going to forget the decimal points, and we're going to do 25 times 4, which is 100. And now we're going to count the numbers after the decimal point. That's one number here and one number here. So we're going to move our decimal point here. It's going to jump 1 and 2. Oops. Yeah. So our answer is 1.000, or 1. Last but not least, 0.06 times 0.05. So again, forget the decimal points. 6 times 5 is 30. Now count the numbers after the decimal point. 1 and 2, 2 numbers here, and 3 and 4, 2 more numbers here. So that means we have to move the decimal point from here 4 more spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's your answer. I hope this video helped you learn something today, and thanks for watching.